Greetings, everyone. I hope you have you had a nice day. Thank you, John, and thank you, Clarice, and thank you, everyone, for joining. So I would like to share the screen so that we can continue. So as you have heard, um, my name is okay. You could allow me to share the screen. Yeah, my name is Ondora Mogere Dalton. I am a technical engineer. My specialization is in solar technology. I am the technical director of Torchbearer Technologies, where we have Torchbearer Institute of Technology. So Torchbearer Technologies deals with solar installation, HVAC installation, and maintenance design, CCTV, and also we deal with solar. So, John, could you allow me to share the screen? Oh, okay, okay. So basically, that's myself. I did undergraduate. I did a Bachelor of Technology in Applied Physics, Electronics, and Instrumentation. And postgraduate, I've done Renewable Energy Technologies, and so various courses. And I believe some of you have heard of EPRA. I'm a EPRA licensed solar technology, and also I am a member of KEREA and also Clean Cooking Association of Kenya. So that's the basic background of myself. So I have led various training programs and also various installations in solar technology. So whatever we are going to learn on these like 4 weeks series is on renewable energy, but our emphasis will be on solar technology and electrical. So for this first class, we are going to talk about uh, licensing body or regulatory bodies that you need to understand. And then for this first session, and then we are going to see the types of licenses here on the regulatory body that we have in solar and electrical, because these licenses they are very important, very critical in the industry, because I believe as a member of IEEE or as a member of Power and Energy Society of Kenya, our aim is that maybe we could be working in the renewable energy sector, maybe in generation, transmission, distribution, and also apart from that, you can be working as a maybe a sole proprietor. So that's generally what we are going to look at. Uh, I believe could be good that I share my screen. So maybe John, how long should I wait? Okay. So as we're waiting for John to set the screen. Oh, okay, okay, thank you. I think now it's okay. So I hope you can see my screen. Yeah, if you can see my screen, you can give a thumbs up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's the brief introduction. I hope you can see my screen. So this is my LinkedIn page. I saw it was that I share with you the LinkedIn page. Uh, as an introduction, I've said my name is Ondora Mogere Dalton, technical engineer. My specialization is in solar technology, and also I'm the technical director at Torchbearer Technologies, where we have Torchbearer Institute of Technology, and also we have now the Torchbearer Technology, where we deal with solar installations. So I've led various trainings. So this is the LinkedIn page. You can search. I believe some of you are in the LinkedIn social media account. You can search my name there. You will get that LinkedIn profile and you'll know more about me. So I think that's okay for now for that introduction. So maybe we can hear from the chat box, maybe what will you like to learn in this presentation? Maybe what will you like to learn in this presentation? Maybe you can, what is your expectation, yeah, in this presentation? So maybe somebody can write, maybe you can give write something on the chat box. We hear what you like to learn in this presentation. So being the first class, you're going to do 4 modules, and the aim is that after these 4 modules, I believe most of us are maybe first year, second year, third year, and also even to fifth year, and others are working professional. So this session we have organized with power and energy and IEEE is that we ensure that those individuals that are in the maybe energy sector, as maybe students or young professional, should should acquire the highest maybe qualification, or should be acquainted with the market. Yeah. For example, I believe you have seen any job advertisement. Maybe they say that maybe this individual should have what, a T2, a T3 license or electrical license, or should be registered with EBK or IEK, those registration body that we have. So this the aim of the training. Actually, I will like every individual that has joined today, you should ensure that you finish the presentation. And also, like I will give scholarship, maybe if you are a fourth year actually, or yeah, we'll after the training we'll choose maybe some individuals around maybe 10, even 15 individuals who will work together with them to acquire a license, yeah, and also to acquire skills in designing and sizing of solar installation. So yeah, I've seen somebody have said that you like to learn why licensing is very important, and why should we, and the step to get licensed. So yeah, I think that's okay, Clarice. Any other individual? Okay, so I think I've talked about Torchbearer Institute of Technology. So I'm the technical director of Torchbearer Technologies, where we have Torchbearer Institute of Technology. Actually, we do train in solar technology, electrical. We're going to have training in e-mobility and green hydrogen in these before the end of the year. So maybe November next month, we are going to have green hydrogen training and date 6. So that's actually what we do. So let me jump quickly on regulatory bodies and maybe some bodies, regulatory bodies that we need to understand and that are very important while those who are working, or as individuals who are in the power and in the energy sector. So sorry for that. So we are going to learn these regulatory bodies, and I believe you have seen them. You have seen them somewhere, and most of you, these regulatory bodies or these standards are not new unto yourself. So, for example, maybe somebody ever heard of maybe British standards. For example, somebody can be asking, why do we use 240 volts? Why do you use? Maybe I can ask a question. The live wire. What is the color of live wire? You can write on the chat box. What's the color of the live wire? Or the neutral wire and earth wire, the color? Yeah, the live wire is red. Yeah, the live wire is red. Maybe you can ask yourself, why do we use red and other countries use maybe white or brown? So, because actually we say that Kenya was colonized by British, and we actually adopted the British standards. So also electrical, normally we do use British standards. And for maybe for cables, we are using red as the live wire, or red as the positive wire. So we have those British standards, and I believe maybe sometimes we have seen, actually maybe for, I believe some individuals have done some NITA exams. We have NITA, which means National Industrial Training Authority, or maybe you have come across, maybe in the class you have come across BS, maybe BS, maybe 1058 and all that. So you have come across those standards, maybe some abbreviation, BS. So BS stands for British Standards, and for Kenya we have KS, which we are going to see them as we are continuing with the training. So these standards, actually, the importance of this, actually, all these standards is that to ensure that uh, any electrical installation or any solar installation is done accordingly, is done with maybe according to the standard. And then after it has been done with the with the up to the standard, so we have those British standards, and I believe IEEE, we have IEEE standards. So actually sometimes most of these standards at times you can they're not like most of them, they're not open source, but for British standards you can get them open source. But IEEE standards, actually you need to, for example, maybe for you to acquire the whole standards uh, from electrical solar and all that, you need to be a member or you need to buy these standards. They are available at a fee. So I believe you know that. So these standards at times they are available at a fee, and most you find that company buy them. So apart from IEEE standards, we do have IEC standards. So IEEE stands for Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. So they have their standards here, and I believe maybe you could visit those sites. We are going to see those sites. We have IEC standards, International Electro Technical Commission guidelines. So they are guidelines on any electrical and electro technical, all that. So those are the guidelines, and it's very important. Actually, these standards, these guidelines are very important in working in the industry, because anything that you do, maybe during sizing and designing of a solar system, or maybe about PLC, programmable logic controls, or automation. So anything that you do, it's according to these standards. So apart from these ones, we have now National Electrical Code. So National Electrical Code is under NFPA. We have something known as the NFPA, that is National Fire Protection Association, where we have a National Electrical Code. So we have around 800 codes. So they are talking, these codes, maybe they talk about how maybe you're supposed to do installations. For example, National Electrical Code is a code known as NFPA 70. We have 70 A, B, C, and E. So for this one, it gives us guideline on electrical installation. So we have guidelines on maybe fire protection. We have guidelines on escalators. We have guidelines on lifts. We have guidelines on power plant and all that. So this National Electrical Code, which we are going to see them, and I'm going to share a document on the same as we go by. Now we have ISO, which stands for International Organization for Standardization Protocols. So for example, you can have ISO maybe 10, 1190, or that 131143. So we have those standards. Maybe they talk about how, maybe for example, an inverter, I believe maybe you have heard of inverter or a battery should be, or a mobile phone. So actually these standards are there, which you're going to see them as we go by. Now we have also International Labor Organization standards. So for the labor, it is intertwined with the OSHA, actually. So for example, we talk about safety. If you have heard of something known as safety, or health and safety. So health and safety is very important in doing any activity, or any activity or any installation, design, and all that. So we have those standards. ILO, we have ILO 1190 and all that. So they give us standards how maybe to do. For example, they say that when you are working at height, maybe doing any installation or any works above maybe 2 meters, it's required of you to have something known as maybe a ladder. You should not overstretch, overreach. And also maybe if you're working on any roof, you should ensure you have something known as the safety harness. And I believe somebody, maybe some of us here, if you are in attachment, you have gone for an attachment for any company, at times you find that uh, there are strict with the safety rules. For example, you can be asking yourself, why do we wear safety shoes? Yeah, when we go for lab, I know we go for lab, we are told to go with safety boots. We are supposed to go with maybe a helmet, also maybe a dust coat or gloves and all that. So actually, those things that you are doing, it's because of certain standards. For example, the reason why we wear safety shoes is that to ensure that there's no electrocution and all that. So those are the standards that I'm going to share, also a document on the same as we go by. So the very important thing in our sector, that is power and energy in Kenya, actually, it's a body or a regulatory body known as EPRA, which stands for Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority. So under Energy and Petroleum Authority, Regulatory Authority, it has come up with some regulations and standards in the energy sector, in the solar sector, and also electrical sector that give guidelines in generation, transmission, and distribution of energy. And any individual that is working on this sector or will like to work on this sector, it's required of him to acquaint himself with these regulations, quality standards, to acquaint himself with the framework. So actually, maybe somebody can ask a question. Maybe before we had EPRA, EPRA is a predecessor of another body. Before 2019, EPRA was had a name. Maybe somebody can tell us what was the name of EPRA before 2019, before it changed into EPRA. Maybe somebody can tell us. Maybe you can write on the chat box, or you can unmute, or you can raise your hand. So before we had EPRA, there's another name that EPRA had before 2019. Somebody can write on the chat box. ERC, yes, true, it's ERC. Somebody has said ERA, it's ERC. Thank you. So before EPRA, we had ERC, Energy Regulatory Commission, that is before 2019. But now it changed into EPRA, and we are going to see what EPRA does, and actually that will be our focus. And then apart from that, EPRA, it deals with generation, distribution, and transmission of electricity. It has two departments, the Department of Energy, and we have the Department of Petro. So in the energy, we have electricity, and then now we have the renewable energies. So those are the sub-department. We have the doctorate. And then we have NCA. So EPRA gives licenses for all energy apart from nuclear energy. Now we have NCA. I believe you have heard of NCA, National Construction Authority. And I believe some of us have heard of that maybe recently. So National Construction Authority, it has some regulations and also some standards. We have something known as the National Building Code. Have you heard of National Building Code? Yes, if you have heard of National Building Code, you can give a thumbs up. Okay, thank you, John. So the NCA is responsible of maybe formulating some standards and regulation on the buildings or the building code. I believe you have seen maybe buildings that are being erected, and then you can see NCA, and then there's an X. Somebody was saying, for example, it's Nairobi County Authority. No, it's NCA. So any building that is being erected and it doesn't meet the standards, maybe when it's being inspected by NCA, maybe when they find that this building or this building or this structure, it has not met the standard, maybe they give that as X. So we have the National Building Code. So the National Building Code gives details of everything in building, from roads to buildings, and inside building they talk about elevators, escalators, they talk about parking, they talk about swimming pools, they talk about HVAC, they talk about internet connection, they talk about solar and all that. So the National Building Code is a booklet that gives all the details about buildings. When maybe you're coming up with a building, the standard that you should have. For example, it says every building that is constructed maybe above 8 floors should have a lift or an escalator. So that's a building code. And then they can say, for example, buildings, actually the residential building should have fire extinguisher. So we have those like codes and regulations that we need to understand. And actually, NCA, we have also a license. NCA gives license maybe for you to register as a contractor, an electrical contractor, also a civil contractor, or any other contractor. We do have contractors license. And also, apart from contractors license, we have technicians license in the portal. You can apply in these licenses. So apart from that, also we have OSHA. So OSHA is also related with the NCA in the sense that mostly is on occupational safety and health administration regulation and also standards. So they talk about we talked about fire safety and all that. So those are the standards. So apart from these international and local standards, we have also KEBS. So we have KEBS, and also in KEBS we have it has come up with a standard, a local standard known as KS. KS stands for Kenya Standard, and there's a booklet on the same on the standards of on electricity, and it costs around 16,000 shillings. Let me show you. You can search KS standards. So for example, I've talked about all that, but for example, if we search KS standards, so these are standards that have been developed by KEBS, and they give guidelines on they give guidelines on electricity, and actually it costs around 16,000. Oh, okay. So this is like, for example, as you can see here, we have KS and all that. So this, for example, a test for steel wire and wire products used for fencing purposes. So, but KS for electrical, let me search for electrical, you see. So the KS for this one, it has borrowed, they have borrowed the codes from IEC, as you can see here. So it's available at around 16,000. So it's National Electricity Safety Code. So you can have these codes, and you find some company buy them. So for example, as you can see, this one is a KS 61200. It's they have acquired it from IECTS. So these are the guidelines. For example, as you can see, this one is an application guideline on extra low voltage direct electrical installation. So we can have that one. For example, direct current installation. So which is extra low voltage. So extra low voltage, it means that should be lower than 60 volts DC. So we have those guidelines. For example, I believe you have heard of CCTV. I believe some individuals have worked on CCTV or intercoms or internet. So we have some guidelines. For example, you're not supposed to use indoor cables for outdoor. So I believe you have seen those guidelines and all that. And also you have seen that uh, KPLC, they are cutting trees that are near what? Electrical cables, and also maybe they are stripping off the internet cables from KPLC poles. So we have some courts, but if you go against them, it's not recommended of you to do that. So apart from those bodies, I believe we have these bodies. So we have these bodies. I know you have interacted with this one. We have EBK, and EBK. If you are doing electrical or any engineering course, it's recommended of you to register with EBK or IEK. So maybe you can register as a student engineer, also you can register as a graduate engineer. So there are advantages with these bodies, in the sense that because it's one of the requirements. We find that one of the sieve for anyone, maybe for any job application, they say should be registered with EBK, should be registered with IK. With maybe you can see from those who are here, you can give a thumbs up if you are a member of EBK or IK, maybe as a student engineer. Anyone that has registered as a student engineer? Thank you, John. John has registered as a student engineer. So apart from EBK, we have IEK. So EBK and IEK give platform for any individual that is in the engineering field to grow. So for example, they do organize industrial visits. They do organize conferences. For example, actually, IEK, it has a conference in the month of November, I believe, November 20 something in Mombasa. So we have, for example, here. So they organize events, and these events are opportunity for us to interact with the real projects. For example, after they have gone for that event in Mombasa, if anyone that has joined that event will be granted like a free industrial visit to Bamburi Cement, where we have a solar system there. So it's very important as an individual in the industry, not only as a student but as a working professional, to acquaint yourself with these bodies. So I believe it's misbehaving for that portal. So you can go and check EBK and IEK. So we have like membership categories. So you can have so we have these associate, graduates, and students. So you can register with IEK. So we can have students, technicians, technologists, engineers. So there's a different. Maybe if you are doing a Bachelor of Technology, you will register as a technologist. If you are doing diploma and a certificate, you register as a technician. And also, if you are doing a Bachelor of Science, you register as an engineer. And then we have associate. So associate, I think they have given some explanation here. So it's very important as an individual to register with this one and also attend some events or opportunities that have been organized for your career development. So apart from that, we have other bodies. We have career. Kenya Renewable Energy Association organize events on renewable energy. And yeah, it's very important also to register. We have those bodies. You can register as a member. So maybe if your interest is in solar, we have solar working groups, geothermal, wind, and all that, biofuel. So if your interest is in these categories, you can register. So apart from that, we have Ketraco, we have KPLC, we have Ketraco, we have KPLC, and all that. So, and I believe some of us worked maybe during attachment in KPLC. And if you follow, and I recommend that all of you, because you are in the power and energy sector, we should acquaint ourselves. Maybe we should follow the social media of these companies and bodies in any social media that you are active in, because it's very important as an individual to be up to date. So for example, they can be organizing events, they can be having um, maybe conferences, they can have internship opportunity, they can have attachment, they can have maybe to write a report or to write a paper. So you can be doing that. For example, as you can see, KPLC have been spearheading the adoption of e-mobility. Maybe if your interest is in e-mobility, I believe we have some individuals that have interest in e-mobility. So you can be following those companies. So maybe we can see, we can give a thumbs up if your interest is in e-mobility, any or solar or hydrogen. Maybe you can start with e-mobility. You can give a thumbs up if your interest is in e-mobility. Solar. I'm not seeing any thumbs up. Okay. I've seen many are in solar. So we have green hydrogen and all that. So you can be following these companies and you acquaint yourself with them. For example, you can just visit. We have free resource here. For example, you can come here to downloads and just read these reports, yeah, for KPLC. You can just go through them. You understand? Yeah, very free results. For example, you can have this document here. You can download this document and read them and acquaint yourself with them. So these are very important bodies. So apart from that, I would like to emphasize now on EPRA, the regulatory body that is very important, that gives companies licenses. And license is an important an important document because it shows you as an individual that indeed you are qualified. Also, it gives you an upper hand. Okay, we have technicians and engineers who are working without licenses, but for them it gives them a limited uh, capability, in the sense that, for example, if you're applying for a job or a contract, they will say that you need to have this license. If you have a license, it's like an added advantage. So EPRA, it has been given a mandate to regulate energy. We said both petroleum and electricity and renewable. So as you can see here, we have electricity and renewable, and then we have petroleum and gas. So these are the two categories that we have. So and also we have energy efficiency. Our focus is going to be on the energy, that is electricity and renewable. So we have we have electricity. And then on this tab here, so you just search EPRA and then you'll get, okay, let me show you. I believe some of us have not interacted with EPRA. So you can just search EPRA and then it will take you to, so EPRA, and then or okay, search ERC. I think ERC, it will be easier. ERC, yeah, search ERC, because it was commonly known as ERC. So you search ERC and then you go to EPRA, and then I think you open the tab, and then we have now these tabs here. So any license that you do apply, either electrical or solar, uh, you apply it in the portal here. So for example, on the regulatory instruments, so as the name suggests, these are like documentation that gives about that talks about energy, that is from generation, distribution, transmission, and all that. For example, we have this document that is talking about the electricity supply and installation work. So this is 2024. So we have all these documents here. So they are open source. You can acquaint yourself with them. You can just, for example, this is for electrical. We have energy dispute resolution. We have installations. We have, let me go to solar. So we have all these ones for generation, distribution, and licensing. So you can acquaint yourself, you can download this document. So for example here, now this for solar, we have solar photovoltaic regulation 2012. So if you click download, you'll get the document, and you can go through it. And this document, actually, it has everything that you need to know about solar, which we are going also maybe to look at them in a nutshell in the PowerPoint presentation that I had prepared. So these are the documents maybe you like to understand. For example, we have classes. I believe you have heard of classes of license known as T2, T3. You have heard of maybe C2 or C1 or A. Maybe if you like, maybe you like to specialize in escalators and elevators or generators. Maybe you can be asking yourself, what category of license should I acquire? So these are the documents that you need to go through. You should make EPRA your friend, and maybe for your case, for solar, you can read this solar, and for electrical, you can read this one here. 2006, where is it? Electrical that reads 2006. Failing to see. Okay, there's that document that talk about 2006. 20, yeah, this one here. So this is for electrical. If you like to know about the categories of electrical and all that, it has more information on the same and on the licenses. So we have, for example, as you can see, and what you need to have. So apart from that, okay, so after acquainting yourself with that, so we have some application guideline, what you need to have. So we have, for example, a checklist. Okay, but my focus is on the guideline here. So these are manual. They recommend a manual for renewable and solar license. What you need to have, for example, you need to have a license as an electrical worker. What you need to have, and also a contractor, and also we have also for solar. So for example, okay, let me use the PowerPoint to go through quickly. I believe we are together up to that point. If you have learned something, you can give a thumbs up. Okay, thank you, Beryl. Thank you, Clarice, and the rest. Yeah, Shan. So I think we have talked about these bodies. Let me. Okay, so I think we have talked about these bodies, and then okay, we have talked about this one, that ERC. We have said EPRA was known as ERC, and the function is to do upstream and downstream of solar, and also that not only solar but energy. So talked about that. Okay. So I think we have, yeah, most of us maybe we are interested to know about now the regulatory body mostly, which is EPRA. So I have said that it's required that any person that is supposed to carry out any design, construction, operation, maintenance, or inspection of electric transmission distribution system for consumer is required to have a license unless is working under certified technician. That's one of the requirement. And actually nowadays, this year, EPRA has been very strict. Like it has been doing a lot of public participation, a lot of amendment on the regulation and all that. Maybe if you are a fourth year or a third year or a second year or or also a first year, maybe by the end when you are going to finish your maybe your degree, your diploma or certificate, you'll find that the regulation or the rules or let me say the regulation and the framework will be tighter, that it will be require you to have a license maybe to do some installation. So this is one of the require like a statement from EPRA. Okay, so for example, for you to apply a license, it's required of you to have maybe, for example, these are the documents that you need to have. You need to have some licensing fee, which we are going to see, a copy of national ID, a passport, and copy of academic certificate. So maybe somebody can be asking, can I apply a license before I finish my studies? The answer is no. You cannot apply for the license because you need to have academic qualification and also professional qualification and also experience. So those are the documentation that you need to prepare. For example, you need to have your university certificate or college certificate, either diploma, degree, or NITA trade test. We have maybe NEC or NITA. So you can have that as one of the qualifications. So, for example, in electrical, we have categories of licenses. We have C2. So C stands for consumer. If you go back to that document that I have shown you on the electrical installation, distribution, and transmission regulation 2006, gives a definition of C2. C as consumer, 2 stands for like the lowest category. And for you to get this license, you need to have, for example, uh, an electrical craft certificate in KCP and also a KCPE. So those are the requirement. And C2, you are required to do low voltage installation, that is less than 1000 volts. So I think up to that point we are together. And yeah, I believe up to that point we are together. You can give a thumbs up if you are together. Okay, thank you so much. So it's good. Actually, let me say, it's very important as an individual. Actually, you have a privilege to learn about these licenses as early as possible, because some of us, like me myself, I did graduate without knowing licenses, without knowing EPRA. Okay, I was hearing of EPRA, EBK, and all that, but I was not such serious on these bodies. So it's a privilege as an individual. Actually, you are learning about these bodies and you are learning about these regulatory bodies as early as possible, in the sense that you are preparing yourself. Not when you are graduating is when now you are seeking to get the licenses, to acquaint yourself what you need to have for you to get the license. So I think during this like 4 days training, we're going to prepare you as an individual to transit, like to to get the skills that are needed outside there in the industry. Maybe for those individuals that have interest in solar, we are going to have maybe as an industrial visit to a solar power plant, where you are going to learn about solar energy and also to have hands-on experience on solar. So this is the aim of this training. It's not like a presentation and then we finish at that point, but for you to acquaint yourself with the types of licenses according to your qualification. Now you're going to apply a license accordingly at the end of maybe when you have reached the end of maybe your academic qualification. So also I believe maybe if you are a working professional, it's also an added advantage on your side. So apart from C2, we have C1, stands for consumer one, where you need to have, for example, for you to get this license, bullet number one, it means that if you have a Bachelor of Science in electrical engineering, or you have been registered by Engineering Registration Board, you can get a license. So apart from that, if you have a higher diploma or a Bachelor of Science in electrical and electronics, mechatronics, mechanical, uh, telecommunication, instrumentation, uh, so mostly is courses that are related to electrical. So if you have mechanical, you're eligible for electrical license actually. So also, yeah, mostly, yeah, that is the requirements. So, and for you to get the license, at least you have worked on projects. For example, 3 verifiable projects, and we have a referee for you to acquire the license. So maybe I believe some of us here have worked on projects, maybe either attachment or internship. So maybe you have participated in installations. Maybe we can give a thumbs up if you have participated in a consumer installation of a building. Maybe you have done yeah. So those are like the requirements. It's very important as an individual to acquaint yourself with the circuit breakers. I believe you have heard of circuit breakers and you understand them. So during the licenses, you do oral exam and written exam. So the written exam, they will ask you maybe the type of license that you have applied for. They will ask you on circuit breakers. What is the function of a circuit breaker? Maybe the cables used for maybe lighting, maybe sockets. You need to acquaint yourself with that. And I think as the time goes by, we are going to acquaint ourselves with that. Maybe I can ask a question. What is the size of circuit breaker that we do use for lighting? I'm assuming that maybe some of us have gone for attachment and internship, and maybe have interacted with that. So what's the size of circuit breaker that we use for lighting? It is rated in amperes. Anyone? 10 amperes. Okay. Yeah, 10 amperes. Okay. Yeah, we can have 10 amperes, but mostly maybe for small houses we use 6 amperes. So 10 amperes is when you're having a lot of maybe lighting points. We use 6 amperes, but for 10 is bigger, like you're having a lot of lighting, but the recommended one is 6. So those are the things that you need to acquaint yourself with. Yeah, the cable sizing 1.5 squared, 4.0, and all that. So for you to get the license, those are the things that you need to acquaint yourself with. And actually, okay, so this is for C1, and then now for B. So B stands for yeah, so this class B, and the same qualifications. So but for this one, you need to start with C2 or C1. You cannot go to B. So these are the licenses that we need to have. For example, if you are electronics, in mechatronics, instrumentation and all that, you're eligible for this license. So apart from that, we have A2. So A2 is a specialized electrical installation works. I believe some of us have worked maybe in escalators, or you have worked in petrol station installations, you have worked in generator, elevator, charging station. Maybe you can give a thumbs up if you manage to do an attachment at a charging station or a EV station. Any individual who have worked on charging station? I believe some of us have gone for attachment, or almost all of us, right? Or we are working, yeah. So we have specialized licenses such as A2. We have specialized licenses such as A2, and actually EPRA is revising these standards, and they are coming up with new licenses. So this is like the summary of what we have been discussing. That we have C2. C2, you need to have like the lowest qualification that you need to have is wireman grade 2. It means that you have done wireman 3 and then 2. So this okay, I believe some of us have not heard of that. We have NITA, which stands for National Industrial Training Authority, that is responsible for this curriculum known as the trade test. So they have like their ranging. They have wireman 3, wireman 2, and then wireman 1. So wireman 3 is the lowest, and then wireman 2 is the middle one, and then they have 1. And also they have master craftsman. So we have those categories. And Anita is based on skills, like a skill based training, rather than you find in the university most is on head knowledge. Most of it, let me say, most of the university is head knowledge, but for NITA it's hands-on, and also NEC is mostly hands-on. So these are the categories. This is like the summary. And the application fee, tentatively, for you to apply for this license, you only pay 250 shillings for C2. And then after paying 250 shillings, you go for a written exam. And then after passing a written exam, the written exam is above, the pass mark is 50, it's out of 70. And then you go for an oral exam, which is out of 30, the pass mark is around 20. So the other is the same thing, the marks is the same, but now the prices are different. So the application fee is 500, that is for C1. And then for C2 is, for B is 750, A2 and A1 is 1000. So those are the licenses, categories, and application fee. So these are like now the summary. I think the summary. Okay, the summary. Okay, just the same. So apart from that, I believe some of us are contractors, or maybe they aim to be a contractor. Maybe is there somebody who is doing some, okay, he has a company or he has a business in mind, not registered, or maybe he's doing some installations. Is there an individual? Yes. Is there an individual that is doing some electrical installation or solar installation, or you are running a business? Okay. So one of the advantage of as an individual to register your business or to register as a company or as a contractor is that you'll get a lot of tenders and contracts, because for you to bid for a contract, you need to produce your documents, right? You need to give some documentation that indeed you are eligible for you to be given this contract. So this is like the requirement for contract for contractors. So these are the things that you need to have. I see time is much spent, and we have not tackled mostly on solar. So I don't know if we can maybe we can have some question on the some question for what we have covered, and then on the next presentation I'm going to take you through now the licenses that we have for solar. So maybe before we leave, maybe is there any question up to this point? Any question? Yes, Clarice? Mhm. Mhm. Engineering Registration Board. So okay, actually it's not a must that you be registered with ERB. It's just like if maybe you are registered, it's one of the qualification. So ERB is just Engineering Registration Board, or you need to understand what is Engineering Registration Board. Okay. We have EBK, we have a lot of bodies. We have ERB, we have EBK, we have KETREB, we have IEK. So okay, I don't know. We have this one here. Yeah. So talking about all that, so we have also this one. Okay, so these are like okay, registration for techno. Okay, no, we have for Kenya. We have for Kenya, not this one. We have ERB Kenya. So also we have IEK. IEK offices are in Tuk, not IEK. IEK, IET. So we have those bodies. We have KETREB. I think I searched KETREB here. So we find some courses you cannot register with, not all courses that you can register with EBK or IEK. So for example, for those individuals that have done maybe renewable energy, you are supposed to register with KETREB. Or maybe some courses, for example, you can have telecommunication, which are not in you cannot register them. Maybe they are not recognized by EBK or IEK. So you can register now with KETREB here. So we have now KETREB. You can register as a member. So we have a membership portal. You can register here. So you normally register with that. So I think as time goes by, you are going to understand these bodies. So not all courses that you can register with IEK or EBK, because your course should be EBK recognized. And we have some universities that don't have EBK recognized courses. Yes, a question, David? Yes. Okay, if you have registered with EBK or IK, there's no need of you to register with KETREB. KETREB is for technologies, you see, and EBK is engineers. And not all courses that are for KETREB. Where is it? So, for example, I believe there are some courses in TUK that are not like EBK. Okay, maybe they are in the Department of Electrical. We can have courses that are in your Department of Electrical or Department of Civil or Mechanical, but they have not been like recognized by EBK. Like I don't know if you're understanding me. For example, for me, for my case, I studied in TUM. So in TUM, we had a course known as Bachelor of Technologies, Electronics and Instrumentation. So that course is not recognized by EBK and IEK because there's some things they check for a course to be like recognized for you to register as a member. So for your case, now you go to register as KETREB, as a technologist in KETREB. Yeah, I think it's clear up to that point. So, okay, okay. But if you if you have registered with EBK, you can register both EBK and IEK because they do different things. You are going to maybe just find some time and go through them. You can register both EBK and IEK as a member, and also you can register with Career just as it's an association on the same. So we have these members. You can go through the website and learn more on the same. Okay, so yeah, I think John, I think we can terminate our presentation on this moment, or maybe how do you see? Can we extend for 5 minutes or 10 minutes? Or 10:30? Oh, okay, okay, no issue. Okay. Yes, Mireri. Yes, yes, yes. The slides are available. Yeah, the slides are available. You are going to get the slides. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. Let me continue now. Or I had thought we are going to finish. Sorry for that. I thought we are supposed to finish at 10, but let me continue now. I think, okay, I'm going to finish on this one. So I was talking about, I believe as an individual, at times maybe you may be having a vision to register as a contractor, or you are having an uncle or a brother who is running a business or an enterprise as an engineer, but he has not reached to a point of registering as a contractor or as an engineer, maybe solar or electrical. So these are like a document that's going to shed some light for you to register as a contractor or as an engineer. So the requirement for you to register, these are EPRA. We have EPRA contractor and NCA contractor, and I believe you have seen of that. So for example, you can see if you go for a portal, you will see maybe we are NCA certified or EPRA licensed, those contractors and all that. So for example, for you to register as a contractor, you need a certified certificate of incorporation. So certificate of incorporation, you do acquire it in the eCitizen portal. Also business registration certificate. So those are the things that you need to have. And then for certificate of incorporation, you need to register as a company. So it means that maybe you need to have a director, a physical location, and some tools and equipment and all that. So actually it goes around for that all maybe registration, it goes for around 20,000 or 15, 20, let me say 20,000. Business registration is easier. It's 950 shillings, maybe sum up to 1,500. So those are the things that you need to have. It has maybe a trading license, single business permit, ownership maybe of offices, title deed, certificate, and all that. You need to have a KRA pin. So apart from the personal KRA pin that we normally have, we have a KRA pin for a company. So those are the documents that you need to have. Compliance, that you have complied with tax. Then you can have CR12, which means talking about the board of directors and all that. IDs, passport, maybe if you have a foreign director. I believe actually the solar industry and the electrical industry in Kenya is booming. I believe maybe if you are in LinkedIn, maybe we can see those individuals that are LinkedIn. You can give a thumbs up if you are in LinkedIn. Yeah, any David, Kralis, okay. So if Sandra and all that. So if you're in LinkedIn, you find that a lot of Chinese people, they reach out, maybe they see you are in Kenya, they will tell you that we have these products, we need to set up a company in Kenya, or we are going to sell this product with you. So you find that uh, if you have this license, it will be an upper hand. Actually, it's required of you to import products from outside the country. You need to have a license, and the license that you need to have, for example, for electrical and also for solar. So if you have a license, it will be good of you to import some materials or yeah, equipment from outside. So if in LinkedIn and maybe a Chinese guy sees that we're in Kenya, he can reach you in box and tell you, we like to import some materials and all that. Can we make a partnership on the same? So it's good of you to have those documents. And also having a partnership, it means that it becomes one of the board of directors in the maybe your company. So during registration, you need to have that one. So that's the reason why I've talked about this one for a foreign investor, foreign directors here. So electrician license. So we can have a license. So for you to register as a contractor, the first of all, you need to have a license as a technician, or one of your individuals will have a license, and then to register. So we have categories of licenses for contractor. Uh, okay, before that, we have other requirements apart from the documentation. Now we have the tools and equipment. So actually, these tools and equipment, they are very essential. We need to acquaint ourselves as individuals who are working in the power and energy sector, because during licensing, you need to answer the question. You'll be distributed with these tools in front of you. You'll ask, maybe mention this tool, and I believe most of us have not come across these tools. Yeah, maybe this is the first time that we are hearing about them. Maybe any individual that have heard of phase rotation meter or phase sequence meter, any individual, any? Hi, it seems none. Earth loop impedance tester, somebody is wondering. So actually now it's the first time you are hearing about them. You are lucky, because some of us who finished campus without knowing them, even some of us who are working in the industry, they have not come across them. And maybe when they are going for the licensing is when they are facing these tools for the first time. So we are going to see the picture and how to do this test during this training, uh, because it's very important to understand them. And if you remember, we said that any installation, either electrical or solar, should be done up to standard. We go back to IEEE regulation, IEC regulation. It says that, for example, on the word, for example, on the face stands for just, I think the word phase is not new to you because we have the red phase, the blue phase, and the yellow phase. So the phase rotation meter is just used to measure the phases, the red, blue, and yellow phases. Maybe they're going to check the 415 and all that. So the earth loop impedance tester, the word impedance is not new to you, I believe, if you are in the electrical class. Earth is not new. So loop impedance. Impedance is like resistance. So there's a instrument that is used to measure the resistance. Loop is like as the name suggests, a loop, a continuous flow of the earth wire, which you are going to see. We have the insulation, which we are going to talk about it. I think in the last presentation, we are going to talk about testing and commissioning of a system, not only solar but also electrical. So we have earth resistant tester that measures the resistance, and I believe some of us have interacted with it or have interacted with earth testing, and also clampimeter or multimeter. So multimeter, I believe, is one of the tools as an individual who have a desire to work in the solar industry or energy industry in the sense of electrical. Is a must-have tool. You should have a multimeter and a tester. So yeah, I think it's okay. I believe actually while I was in campus, there was this individual who we were studying with. He was studying, but also he was doing some installation. Also, I know of an individual. I met him in a training with, I think it should be last month. I don't know. He's in the second year in TUK. He has a company. He has registered a company actually. He's in second year. He's in TUK. He's doing electrical. He's registered a company and is doing both solar installation and electrical installation, and is acquainting himself with these tools. So I was saying that I remember was when I was back in campus, we have some individuals that acquaint themselves with the industry as early as possible. Now, when they are transiting from campus to now to the employment, it will not be hard for them. It will not be like they are coming out from sleep. You find that maybe for most of the university students, let me say, uh, we normally we wait for graduation, and now when we are seeking for skills. So it's very important as an individual, actually, you have a lot of time to acquaint yourself with skills that are very important, maybe from design and also installation and all that, so that at least it will be a smooth transition to the employment scope. So these are the tools that we need to have, and I believe we have acquainted ourselves with this one. So apart from that, so we have consumer contractors. We have consumer contractor. We have four categories. We have C4, C2, C4, C3, C2, and C1. So C stands for consumer, and category 4 stands for to carry out all kinds of electrical installation. For C3 should carry out medium voltages installation, and then for C2 it's low voltages installation not exceeding 1,000 volts. And then we have this one. This for you can do three phase, and then for this one you can do single phase installation not exceeding 1,000 volts. So we have those classes. So these are the tools. So actually these are the tools, how they look like. So you are wondering. So maybe some, even me, I remember I was saying this one. I can say all of these are multimeter. I believe some of us can say that. Actually, all of them are not multimeter. So for example, this one. So these are mega earth resistant tester. So we have all these are the tools. This can be, this is not a clampimeter, it's a earth earth. It's used for measuring earth clampimeter. So I think these are current transformer here. So which we are going to look about them. So for example, we have phase rotation meter, insulation resistant tester, earth resistant tester, earth loop impedance tester, multimeter. So those are the tools that you need to have. So they are very important in any installations. Um, we have now consumer 1. So these are like the tools we have been talking about. So consumer 1 and consumer 2 and 3 and 4. So 1 we have said is single phase installation not exceeding 1000 volts, and then class 2 or consumer 2 is a single phase and 3 phase installation not exceeding 1000 volts. So I think we have gotten the concept. So the next thing we have line or line supply. So maybe I believe some of us, they got attached in KPLC. I believe when I was in attachment, my first attachment I did with the county government of Mombasa, where we dealt, I was in the directorate of, what do we call it, electricity, public works. I was in public works. Now the department was electrical. So we dealt with street lighting. So for street lighting, you find that you are dealing with live wires. Both are, yeah, you're dealing with live wires. So maybe at times you find some contractors have been given that work. So you need to have these licenses. So if you're dealing with 1000 volts and all that, so just the same voltages, but for what? For line category. So also we have so these are the equipments that you need to have. So I believe you have come across this one in Nairobi. If you're in Nairobi or any county, most counties have this one, this lorry. They have the rigging tools. So we have the tower and power election equipment. For example, this one, this lorry is like a election equipment. So, and I believe most of us have acquainted ourselves with, have met those equipment. So we have excavation and all that. So we have specialized categories. So for specialized category, we have, for example, for one, all electrical works for electrical power generators. So if you need to do power generator installation, you need to have a license known as S1. Actually, let me like clear the air. These licenses now they are not there in the portal, but they are being developed. So these licenses are, this year we had public participation on generation, distribution, and transmission of electricity and solar. So they were giving like some inputs. So these are drafts that are that are going to be passed to be a law and to be implemented to be licenses. So maybe at the end of maybe 2 years or 1 year, we are going to have these licenses, and at the end you find yourself have finished campus. Now you are going to apply the license according to your interest. So we have S2 for lifts, S3 for EV, those people from EV, yeah, charging infrastructure and all that. So S3, that is for your class, and then S4, those are interested in a petrol station or fuel station and depot. So that is S4. So these are the same tools, but for specialized, they must have tools that you need to have them while doing your installation. And then so these are the same tools, but they have given an expansion. For example, we have RCD tester, that is residual current device tester. Okay, so these are the requirement for you to get the license that we had talked about. I think we had talked about earlier, just a repetition on the same, that application form, license fee, permit, license for a technician, and a consent letter. For this one, actually, if you go back to the portal, you're going to see them. Let me, I think after this presentation, I'm going to show you. So these are the application fee. Let me just go through solar. Solar, it's not much. So for solar, we normally have 3 classes of license. We have T1 stands for technician, or SPW stands for solar photovoltaic worker. So maybe before I go ahead, if we are together, if you have learned something, you can give a thumbs up. Okay, thank you so much. So for solar, we have T1, T2, and T3, or SPW1, W2, W3. So T1 is the lowest, T2 is the intermediate, and then T3 is the highest. So if you are doing a degree, okay, let me just go through the specification and then I give that statement at the end. So if you have your highest qualification, if your highest qualification is KCPE, and we have done a grade test T3, okay, wireman 3 and wireman 2, and solar training, you are eligible for T1. and you have done after graduation, maybe from the date of your graduation is 2 years of experience, you'll go for T1. Actually, in the portal, T1 was removed sometimes back, but it imerudishwa tena, but then you find that T1 si watu wengi wako nayo. So T1, the scope of work is to design, install, test, commission and maintain solar system up to 300 watt peak, up to 300 watt peak. So that's T1. And then now we have T2. T2 is intermediate, and most of us who are in electrical certificate and degree and diploma, we do apply for T2 and T3. So for first qualification, either you have a KCSE, maybe you are upgrading from a T1. So if you have a KCSE, a certificate in electrical, electronics, mechatronics, instrumentation, HVAC, medical engineering, you can apply for this one as long as you have done a solar training. Also, if you have a diploma in electrical, mechatronics, all that, renewable energy, biosystem, I know every course that you know that is related to electrical, or you have an experience in electrical, solar, you can apply for that license. For this one, you need to have 2 years of experience. So the 2 years of experience, it doesn't mean like you have been in the industry for 2 years. It means that from the date of your graduation, if for example you graduated on 20th of October 2022, so your 2 years will elapse 2024. Like a portion of an year is an year. For example, let me say, so if you graduated December 2022, you can apply a license 2023 as long as your certificate is out. It is dated that you graduated on August, maybe August 2022. 2023, you will be eligible for applying the license. Okay, let me use your scenario. So we are in 2025. So if maybe your graduation is going to be maybe December, or maybe your graduation was July this year, next year you'll be eligible to apply for a T3 or a T2, in the sense that you have gotten your certificate. So a portion of an year is an year. So as long as you have done solar installation, if you have engaged yourself in solar installation and you write a project report on the same. So the scope of work is medium voltages installation, and also it entails water pumping solution. And then, so this is the T3, the most licensed, the highest license. For T3, I think I've explained on the same. So if you have done a degree or a diploma, so if you have done a degree and you have 2 years of experience, you go direct for T3. So for T2, you only need 1 year of experience for T2. Yeah, if you graduated August this year, you can apply for T2 January. But for T3, also T3 you can apply January. Also T2 you can apply, maybe if you graduated and you have gotten your certificate, you can apply for T2 right now. A portion of an year is an year. I think it's clear. Is it clear, or I'm confusing you? Am I clear? Okay. Yes, yes. License. Mhm. Yes. So actually, if maybe you are currently studying, you need to wait until you graduate. So you need to wait because you need to submit your certification on the portal. So this is just an info. If maybe you are still maybe second year, first year, all that, it's just you are ahead. Like you'll not like tarmac to know what you need to have. It will be easier for you now to do the application and all that. I believe I've answered your question. Yeah, you need to have a certificate for you to upload. Let me finish. So this is T3. The first category, if you have a diploma, you need to have 4 years of experience from the date of your graduation. And then if you have a degree, it's 2 years of experience from the date of your graduation or higher diploma. So that is electrical, mechatronics, and all that. So the scope of work is all electrical installations, all electrical installation for solar. So the application fee is this one. You pay 250 for exam T1, T2 500, T3 is 750 shillings. And then after maybe passing the oral and the written exam, you pay 1,000 for the license. Just if you have done driving, I believe we have some individuals who have done driving. I believe when you're doing driving, when you pay PDL, we have the provisional, not provision, yeah. Uh, Before the provisional driving license, we have another license. Yeah, we have the PDL. So it is around, I don't know, 750 shillings. Then you go for test booking, 1,050 after passing the exam. Then you'll be given another, the interim, is it interim? I've forgotten those licenses. So just the same thing. The first thing exam, then the payment of the license. Now the renewal of license. This category, this is renewal. The grant of your past exam, and then this is the application fee. So I think up to that point it's very clear. So we have other categories for solar that deals with the contractors. For contractors, we have these three categories. We have C1, V1, and V2. So C stands for contractor, and you are supposed to do all electrical installations. You design and you should have a T3. And then V stands for vendor, and vendor 1 and vendor 2. So for example, if you need to sell or promote solar product, it's required of you to have a V1 license. For those individuals that would like to import solar products, either not only solar product, actually even batteries, by the way, the e-mobility, the EV batteries, it's required of you to have a V2 license. So those are the licenses that we have. C1 is for all electrical construction, electrical works from designing to installation. This one designing and also selling. And then this one is importation. I think it's clear. Is it clear, or I'm going too fast? Just as you can see, C1 construction, just design and installation. Then V1 is design and then you distribute. V2 is just to import. Very easy like that. So every category of license has its important, and these are the application fee. You apply by 500 for C1, then V2 1,000. So as you can see, it depends. If you're importing, it means that you have a lot of money to import, so you need to pay a lot. So yeah, it's depend. So these are the application fee and all that. So this is an example of a license of a contractor. It's Nights and App, and I believe some of you know it. So it's available online. So I just picked it. So as you can see, this is a solar photovoltaic system contractor stroke vendor V1. License number is that one. So it was 2023 and all that. So yeah, I believe up to that, that's the end of the training. So I think at the end of the training, you're going to get a certificate. Not now, you're going to get a certificate of participation of this training also. So I think up to that point is what I had planned. So maybe a quick question before I go to EPRA portal. A quick question for the remaining 4 minutes. Any question? Any question, please? Yes, yes. Not really, not from NITA. So the training is that number one, okay, the aim of this training is that number one, as an individuals who are in the university, to get skills ready for employment for the market. So during this training, we are going to learn about design. We are going to learn about installation and all that. We are going to have are designing software, so for maybe electrical and solar. And then apart from that, we are going to link individuals with companies. Maybe if you're interested in solar or electrical, we can give you guideline how you are going to acquire. Maybe I believe some of us, is it January or we are going for attachment April, right? Or I don't know. In my university, we went for attachment. It was in the month of it was April, others January. So like we are preparing you how to venture into the industry. And also one of the benefit is that you'll prepare yourself to get the license, because actually one of the requirement of you, maybe you find any job advertisement, is that you could be having a T3 license is an added advantage, registered with EBK, IEK is an added advantage, and all that. I believe you have seen those advertisement, right? So that's the aim. The aim is that to prepare you as an individual to be market ready. It's not when you're going for interview, you'll be asked, do you have an EPRA license? You just asking, what is EPRA? What is EPRA? Or what is T2? What is T3? Some of us, maybe some of individuals, is when you go for the interview, you are ambushed. You are asked a question which you don't understand. So it's the aim of the training is to make you market ready in the power and energy sector. Okay, so these are like now the EPRA portal. You are going to, or I had click the registry. So for this registry, you can see the contractors here. So maybe for those individuals that are going for attachment, let me give you like, yeah, for those individuals that are going for attachment, or let me give you a clue. You can go to EPRA portal and then you download this. Yeah, you download this one here. Or you don't know if they have changed. You download this PDF. Ah, okay. I think they have changed. Okay. So previously, I'm going to share. Okay, there's no problem. I'm going to share. Previously, if you go to EPRA, it had these companies. As you can see, these are the companies that are around. How many companies? 829 companies, registered companies in Kenya. These are electrical contractors. These are solar contractors. So previously, you were able to get the contacts for this company, and then maybe if you're going for attachment, you can send an email to these companies or you can call them. So for this case, they don't have. It seems they removed the contacts. So previously, okay, but I have the document for the previous companies. So you can also, maybe you can search these companies in LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, any social media account that you are strong in, and then you can send an email, or you can give a call to ask for an attachment or internship. If maybe you see they are dealing with solar or electrical, if interest is in geothermal and all that. So that's like one of the things that you are going to do. Sorry, I'm going to stop at that point. I believe you have learned. See you next week on Tuesday. We are going to talk about solar technology. So prepare on the same. Yeah, back to John and Clarice, believing there's no question. Yes, you're going to get the slides. Yeah, also the slides. Okay, you can visit also maybe if you like to get the slides and the recording, I'm going to upload it. Okay, I'm going to share it with you. Also, maybe if you like to learn more about Torchbearer, you can search Torchbearer Institute of Technology or on the website. You're going to get more learning materials on the same. And also, I'm going to upload the YouTube and then I'm going to share with you. Okay, okay, no issue. Okay, oh, okay.